My name is Faith, and I have some stories to tell. I'm a Boxer Bulldog mix. My mom and dad met me while I was being cared for at the Best Friends Animal Society in Utah and decided they wanted to adopt me. Now, I live in Muncie, Indiana, with Grateful Rescue and Sanctuary founders Pamela and Mike. In fact, I'm the ambassador for Grateful Rescue. It's a pretty sweet life. Sometimes I help my dad at the office, while other times I just demand attention from my mom. Tonight, we want you to gather around and listen to fun, interesting stories. We call it Faith's Book Nook. Each week, we pick a local celebrity or special person in the community to read a children's book that has an animal theme. We live stream it here each week. To be honest, I'm not sure what a live stream means. Anyways, make sure you're in your comfy chair because we're about to listen to a great story together at Faith's Book Nook.
And good evening, and welcome to another edition of Faith's Book Nook. I'm Jason with Grateful Rescue. We have Pamela Terhune. Hello, everyone. Pamela, how are you doing tonight?
Good. How's everybody doing? I guess we're horsing around tonight, right? We've got such a wonderful show tonight. We're joined with a special guest, Lori List, the author of our reading tonight, called "The Smallest Horse," about many horses, and Carolyn, who is our mini horse owner as well, and her horse is going to join us, Frankie. But before we get started and talk some more about that, we have we've got a slideshow coming up with minis our fans sent in. So let's go to the slideshow and take a look.
That was some slideshow, wasn't that, Pamela? Lots of horses, lots of horses.
Yes, and thank you for including mine. I've got a few minis myself, and the picture of the baby, that was my little grandson, Andrew, who's now 6 years old. But I used to have the horses in my backyard before I built my pasture. They ran around like dogs.
Awesome.
Like I said earlier, we have a real dog and pony show going on here.
Definitely. Well, I think it's time to head out to the barn, don't you, Pamela?
I do. I'm so excited. Frankie really stole the show.
Awesome. Let's take a look at that book tonight, The Smallest Horse. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Carolyn Pope, and I'm from Muncie, Indiana, where Grateful Rescue is. This is Frankie. She is a miniature horse. She's 18 years old and is about 30 inches tall. So when they asked us if we could read a very important book with a great message, we were more than happy to do so. The book that we're reading today is called The Smallest Horse. It's by Lori List, and it really does have a really good message. Frankie's going to help me read. What do you think? At first glance, you might think Trixie is a pony. She's very small, after all, like you. She is, for example, much, much smaller than the big horse Huey with his very long legs. She could probably walk right underneath his belly, and he wouldn't even notice. She's even smaller than Indy and Valentine, and they actually are ponies. She is a very, very small horse. She is a miniature horse. Trixie never said it out loud, but sometimes she wished she weren't so small. The other horses all have very important jobs that only big horses can do. Huey's often rounding up missing cattle on the ranch. When Trixie tried to help, she got lost in the tall grass, and Huey had to round her up. Indy is both sure-footed and brave, and the other horses trust her to keep them safe on the trail rides. Trixie tried to show the other horses she was brave too, but the creek was too deep for her to cross. Augie is always bringing home bright-colored ribbons from horse shows. Trixie studied his fancy moves, but they didn't look the same when she tried them. Kestrel is the fastest horse on the ranch, and Trixie thought if she were faster, perhaps she could have the important job. Trixie practiced fast every day, but she could never keep up with Kressler. Even little Valentine has a very important job teaching the youngest children how to ride. Trixie tried to look big and strong, but nobody put a saddle on her. The big horses tried to cheer Trixie up by reminding her of all the things she liked about being such a small horse. Indy said, "But you're the perfect size for little children who want to braid flowers and ribbons into a horse's mane and tail." Trixie had to admit that she liked that very much. Kessler said, "Whenever you want to take a nap, it's a snap for you to find a warm spot and curl up in the sun. I can barely fold up my long legs, right? And then I land on the ground with a big thump whenever I want to lie down." And Huey reminded Trixie that she also won whenever the horses played hide and seek. He said there's lots of great hiding places for a small, clever horse, but not very many for a big horse. Trixie knew the horses meant well, but playing games and taking naps just weren't the same as having an important job. No, she did not think that being small was really very nice at all. One afternoon, Trixie was munching on her favorite blackberry bush when a young girl and her mom arrived at the ranch. The girl's mom explained to Chrissy, the ranch manager, that her daughter had been sad since her best friend had moved away. She said Sarah loves horses, and I'm hoping they might cheer her up. Chrissy said, "I'm sure we can help with that." She took Sarah's hand and led her over to the big horses. The big horses all trotted up to the fence to check out the new people. Trixie shook her head to get her thick mane out of her eyes so she could see the little girl. The little girl looked up at Huey's long nose, then down at his very long hoofs. She took several steps back. Huey reached out with his nose just to say hello, but the little girl shrank back and turned away. "They're so big," she whispered. Chrissy smiled and said, "I know just who you need to meet." Trixie watched as the two of them walked toward her, unlatched the gate, and stepped into the pasture. Christy said, "This is Trixie. She is so kind and considerate, and she always helps me feel better when I'm sad. Let's see if she can help you too." As Chrissy and the little girl walked softly toward her, Trixie did her best to look very, very small. Trixie stretched out her neck until the whiskers on her muzzle just barely touched the girl. She nickered a soft hello. The big horses watched as the little girl with the sad eyes slowly smiled at the small horse that was exactly her size. Trixie's ears flickered forward and she gave her tail a shake as she realized they actually does have a very important job to do at the ranch. Being the smallest horse helps her do it even that much better. Frankie here is, like I said, going into a therapy program. She's been standing here a long time today, so she's kind of a little nudging. I think she's getting tired, but she enjoys the time we spend together, as do I. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the story. And please, if you'd like to check it out again, it's called The Smallest Horse by Lori List.
And Pamela, I think Carolyn and Frank did a wonderful job.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank
That was
so much. That was so
cute.
sweet.
Oh, Lori, thank you. Thank you so much. And you can buy that book straight from your website or Amazon, correct?
No, just from Amazon, actually.
Okay.
Yep. And they have it. It's on sale right now, I think. So
There you go. There you go. Everybody go to Amazon.com and get The Smallest Horse by Lori List. It was a beautiful story. And we love it. We love having you. Carolyn, I want to start with you. You wanted horses all your life, and about 22 years ago, your dream come true, and you developed your horse farm, Castle Ponies, correct?
Yeah, I did.
Tell me.
We had neighbors who had horses. I kind of get the short end of the straw, but I didn't know it at the time. I loved horses so much that I would go to my neighbor's house, and to be able to ride them, I had to clean all the stalls. Now, I thought I was the one winning, but actually probably Mr. Haynes was. And I never outgrew that. And then it just took about 22 years ago before I finally had the opportunity. And miniatures were just the right fit for me. I'm very competitive. I'm a very competitive person. And so we show a lot. And Lori, thank you so much for writing this book, because of all the horses that I show, and they do really well in shows, Frankie isn't one of them. But she too needed a special job, and that book reminded me of that, and it's helped us a lot. And I kind of use that phrase when I take her out. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
And then, Carolyn, you started showing horses, correct? You've had 11 different horses that you've shown, right?
I have. This is Mo. Mo's the current horse I have that I show. He's in training with a lady in Kentucky. A lot of people look at him and think he's a big horse, but he is not. He moves big, and he sure thinks he's big, and he does really well. And I co-own him with a young lady in Newcastle. She's done a lot of great things for him, and he in return has done some wonderful things for her. And her name's Grace.
Wow. And you've won lots of national awards, right? Like,
Phantom,
didn't you?
that's Phantom. Phantom's job is to show. Currently, do a lot of things.
Jake.
Obviously, Price was trained to pull a cart. He has several national titles. And he used to work really hard at it, but right now he just really loves being out in the pasture and being the boss, because he definitely runs the place.
Awesome. Well, I heard Phantom was on a pretty good run there. Everybody knew who Phantom was because everything he entered, he won, correct?
He did for many years, whether it was halter or color. I mean, he's beautiful. And then as well. He went for several years where he only won. I was very proud of him, but to be honest, I mean, he has a great trainer. Because I worked so much, I wasn't always able to get them in the position they needed to be, and I
Uh,
knew that. So that's why they went to trainers. But no, he just did awesome. And then he said for 7 years. That was long enough. He told me he was done. So you just have to listen. No, he was
and
done.
and you still have him in retirement, correct? He lives with you at
What?
Castle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he runs the place.
Awesome. And you were saying Frankie is a therapy horse herself, and she has a gelding, a 5-year-old gelding that's getting ready to start too, right?
Yeah, I started him in training. He doesn't quite have her disposition, but he's close. She's just so mellow. I mean, like this morning, we were doing that for a long time. Doing up all the purrs. It was because my phone, the mic kept cutting out. But she stood there for over an hour, and she did get a little fidgety, but she really has a great disposition. She loves everybody. If you were anybody to come over, she just wants to go up to them and love on them and rub them, and so yeah,
That's
she
wonderful.
do really well. It's her 5-year-old son. That was her last baby. That
Oh,
added to the therapy program too, along with Dave.
it's amazing, amazing. People love many horses, don't they? They see them and their hearts just melt. I don't know anybody who doesn't get excited when they see a little tiny horse.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
horses are beautiful enough, but when you see those little ones, it just melts your heart.
It does, and that's relating to Lori's book is the first thing everybody always asks me. Well, what in the world can you do with the money? You know what?
Hmm.
There's so many things. You know,
Hmm.
there's also picture, phantom drive. There's also obstacle courses to do. There's a Liberty class that is my absolute favorite. That's where we go into the
Wow.
ring and we let the horse go, and he runs, shows off whatever he may do, and then you have to catch him. But it's all beautiful to watch, and I just love it. So there's a lot of things you can do with Minnie, including therapy. So
Yes, they definitely bring up the spirits for sure. Thank you so much, Carolyn. Lori, I want to move to you. You grew up in Texas, and you also dreamt about having horses for most of your life. I read that you would get on a bicycle and dream that was your horse.
I totally pretended my bike was a horse. I grew up in the suburbs, so even though I was in Texas, I didn't have easy access to horses. And yeah, I didn't. When I moved to Oregon, I got my first horse when I was 29 years old.
Oh, wow, wow. And then you decided to develop this website, Pony Dreams. And tell me about that. I couldn't believe all the information you have on there for people that want to learn.
Well, I didn't really set out to write a children's book. That wasn't on my list of life goals. But what I really wanted was I wanted connection with horses so much when I was a kid. And I read everything I could about horses. And so when I got to a point in my life when I had my wonderful horse and was around all these wonderful horses, I thought, well, what if I could write a book that kids could read, but then they could actually go to the website and meet the real horses? Because I think that connection between children and horses is just an incredible one. And so my goal, and Amanda's goal, who did the illustrations, was to just give kids a way who can't be around horses, or even kids who have horses, but just to learn more and be more connected with the horses.
I love it. I mean, it's really cool, first of all, to see the real horses. Like there's Trixie. We see Trixie and all the other horses that are in the story. And see that this isn't just a fictional story. It's actually based on real animals. And I love that you show different little things about horses that people don't know, like measuring, how you measure a horse. For those who don't know, why don't you share how you measure horses? It's not in inches, is it?
No, it's in hands, but a hand is equal to 4 inches.
Mm-hmm.
So every hand is 4 inches, and so they used to actually do it with their hand, and it was a fist or a hand. But then finally they realized that it's different from everybody. So that's how you measure a horse. My horse Indy is 14 hands 1 inch, for example.
Aw.
What to say there? Trixie is, I can't remember, 9 hand. Does that say 9 hands, 2 inches?
I love that picture.
I do too.
And so Trixie is a therapy horse, right? Do you take her out, or do people come visit? How's that work?
So Trixie is not my horse. She she's part of the Chiron Foundation, and they, the horses at the ranch that are part of this program, they actually, this is really timely, but they work mostly with first responders. So people who are on the line, so paramedics, EMTs, police officers. We have them coming to the ranch all the time to work with the horses in this program.
I love it. But you do have a horse, Indy, right? Is Indy your horse?
Indy's my horse. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, there we go. There's Indy.
She's my dream horse for sure.
Gosh. Well, we just love this. I am amazed at what you've done. I love all the different informational, educational pieces to your site.
It's not just a little bit more on the website if you can. This next picture is super cute.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that. There it is, the love in action, right? Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. And there's videos. I see you punch a lot of videos up. So, oh, look there. Very, very nice. And you're broadcasting from Oregon, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Well, so you doing okay? Or how was you were recently evacuated and you're back in your home now? Could you share a little bit about that with us?
Yeah, I'm going to try not to get too emotional. It's been a really dramatic week. Last Tuesday morning, I live in Talent, Oregon, and so the Alameda fire that's been in the news all over the place broke out, and so I left my house at noon and went straight to the ranch and hooked up my truck and trailer, and by the time I got on the road with Indy, there were retardant planes dropping retardant on the fire just on the hill on the other side of the ranch.
Wow.
So it was, but what's been amazing is I just got on the road and I just tried to think of like, who do I know in Grants Pass where I'm going that will take her in? And wonderful Mary Ann, who owns Aranaway Farms, which is actually where Indy was born and bred. It's kind of interesting. I got Indy as a rescue. And so I didn't really know her origins, and I've had her for 7 years. And as I was riding on a trail ride this summer, a girl recognized her who had taken care of her for a year when she was 13 years old. And she's 21 now. And she said, "Is that Indigo?" And I said, "Wow, that's her name, but I changed it to Indy." And so I got in touch with the original owner. And thank goodness that happened, because Mary Ann had just opened, she takes in evacuees, and she took us in, and I had a safe place to leave my horse. And, that's a really amazing thing to just know that your horse is going to be safe.
Yeah. We want to put this up too. Tell us about these agencies that are very special. Please, everybody who's watching, help them out. They need some donations.
So right now in Southern Oregon, we have wildfires going on all over the places, and Southern Oregon Emergency Aid is just dedicated to transporting animals and getting them to safety in times of crisis. So they are a great organization if you want to help out, because they are fully employed right now with keeping horses and livestock safe.
That's awesome. What a good resource to have available for you. Well, I'm so sorry that you're going through that. We're all praying for you and pulling for you, and do anything we can. And we appreciate that you took time out to join us during such a hectic time. It really means a lot.
Could I speak to this other slide really quick?
Oh, absolutely, please.
So the company I work for 4 of our employees pictured here all lost their homes and everything. So anyway, if you care to contribute, you can just go to the GoFundMe website and search for BioSkin. And our company is matching dollar per dollar donations. So to try to help get all them back up on their feet. So that's another way people can help.
Wow. So everybody please donate to this BioSkin GoFundMe. It's going to be matched, so your donations will be doubled. That's awesome. Great.
So, anyway, thank you.
Tough time. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but the community's coming together and we will get through it.
And that's important at a time like this. And I love that about humanity. I know things are tough, but whenever there's something going on, everybody pulls together to help out. So,
Lori, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. We wish you all the best to your family and friends in Oregon.
And we love your horses. Are you planning on writing any more or writing any more books or?
We have a second book in the works. It's called Mango's Brave Day, and the horses go camping. And Mango is a horse that has never been out of a barn situation before. So the story is all about learning how to be brave and find your courage and trust yourself. And I can't wait for it to come out.
I can't wait to read it. Will you please come back whenever that comes out and we'll do this again?
Of course.
Well, it sure has been a special evening. I appreciate everything you do for the horses and for others. And you too, Miss Carolyn. Thank you so much. Frankie was adorable. I think he actually enjoyed the book, though. He seemed like he was looking at it sometimes.
And Lori, if people want more information about your books, ponydreams.com, is that correct? Best to go there.
Yes, they can go there. There's a link to the Amazon page. I'm not really set up to do all the shipping of the books. So, but yes, you can learn more at ponydreams.com. Awesome. And thank you, Pamela, for all that your organization does. It's really impressive and admirable.
Well, thank you so much. It's a labor of love. So, I think that's a wrap. Is that a wrap, Jason?
That's a wrap. And what's our book next week, Pamela?
Oh, next week we have Oscar and Emmy Go to the Vet. And that story is going to be read by our dear Tom Dock from Noah's Animal Hospital. Here's the book, Oscar and Emmy Go to the Vet. We had a reading about Oscar and Emmy earlier this month with KJ, the kitty correspondent. Well, here's a follow-up. Oscar and Emmy's going to the vet, and that'll be lots of fun. He's got a couple nice big dogs. I think they're mastiffs, and they're going to be joining him as well as we talk about the kitties going to the vet. So it'll all be good. So.
Very good. Lori and Carolyn, thank you for joining us. And we'll have this book reading on the website and on the YouTube channel and Facebook here in about 30 minutes if you missed the beginning of the reading. So with that, we wish you all a good evening. Thanks for joining us, and let's wave goodbye. So good night, everybody.
Bye. Bye. Thank you so much, you guys. Oh.